Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Whispers of the Old, Ballads of the Young, or the Wolby podcast for short. This episode is brought to you by RockTofu and the gang. Let's get started. Episode 2, Arriving at Round Hill. If you recall, last time we left off, you have set off from your impromptu camp and are now continuing on your journey to Round Hill. And thanks to your good handling of the wagon, you are going to be arriving a little bit earlier than expected. What was initially going to be a, let's say 11 a.m. arrival, like a little bit before noon, you've actually arrived there around 9 to 10 a.m. Roughly an hour or two faster than what you initially anticipated, which is great. Since Redro isn't here driving the wagon, who is currently driving the wagon?
I'll take over.
Not it.
Alright, okay, that's very clear on who's driving now. So, Silent, as you drive the wagon along the road, you see it right there, very plain and clearly, a round hill. It is most definitely a round hill, and is further exemplified by the sign along the road pointing towards the round hill that says Round Hill.
Whoa.
It is.
Wait, DM. Clarifying question.
Yep.
Parabola round or semicircle round?
I don't even know what a parabola round is. What is that?
Just look at
Parabola.
just look at the Philippine chocolate hills. Use that as a reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say the chocolate hills were parabola round. Well, some of them seem semicircle. Like, you get what I mean, right? Like, mountain shaped or like actually half circle shaped.
Yeah. Maybe just
I
use
see.
the chocolate hills as a reference.
Yeah, chocolate hills is a reference. Oh, I never knew these were called parabola rounds.
Parabola.
Yeah, it's more
Parabola.
parabola because it's
Parabola.
got like a flatter top,
Bola.
so that people can live on it. And
Okay.
unlike the so-called chocolate hills, this is a bit like shorter. It's not quite tall. You can literally like just walk up it. It's tall enough to be safe from like excessive flooding, but it's not Mount Everest. And my camera refuses to work. Something about Monday.
Monday.
Right, so you see there, and you drive the wagon along the road and up the side of the round hill to the entrance of Round Hill. At the entrance, a town guard tells you to stop. Halt, he says. It is a gnome town guard.
That's cute.
I'm gonna write down everything.
Please state your business.
Gnome MP3 sound.
Silence in front, right? Maybe he talks.
Yeah, silence in
sorry,
front.
I'm busy writing. Hang on.
I can talk.
Alright then.
I can talk for the party if you want, but it's just up to you guys how much you want me
Oh,
to.
y'all
Merlo
just,
to
y'all
represent
just
the
do what you
party.
want.
Never mind, I'll do it. I look at the town guardsman. My name is Silent Kingsley. I represent the guild. We were told
Oh,
to come here.
are you the adventurers responding to a request we sent? Oh,
Yes.
then you'll be wanting to see the mayor then. Just drive
mayor?
drive along. You can park right there and head along the market square and you'll see the town hall. Right there. It's the biggest building. You see him pointing towards a place there where you clearly cannot see.
I'm pretty sure we'll
Is it like a-
manage.
Is it like a perspective thing? Like you have to be as short as him to see it? Does Merlo see it?
Merlo doesn't see it either. In fact, he's doing that thing where he's like pointing through the buildings.
Ah, okay.
Thank you, my good man. I toss him a gold coin.
He catches the gold coin. Okay. There's no entry fee though.
Yeah, just
Silence
take
the type of guy to fucking tip with $100 bill.
Oh,
it.
okay.
Just take it, my good man, and then
Right.
I drive in.
Welcome to Round Hill. As you drive
Thank you.
the wagon in, you can see, more signs telling you where to go. Despite it being a small town, they seem pretty keen on setting up signs. Seems like they don't want anybody getting lost in their own town. But strangely enough, there's no sign to the town hall, as the gnome guard spoke of. You find the so-called parking area for wagons quite easily. A couple gnomes come and take your wagons and tie your horses and whatnot. And they ask for a parking fee of 1 silver.
I'll do them better. I'll give them 2 gold coins.
Jesus Christ. Big spender.
We have the
They
economy.
take the 2 gold coins and they look very surprised. Oh, you sure? No, but
Is
it
there
only
a
costs
problem?
1 silver.
Well, unfortunately, I do not have that, so enjoy the
You,
gold.
no, you
Oh,
do. You do. Bro,
we
you,
can
Wait, I
get
do?
you change, Oh.
No, keep the change.
Sure. Okay. Welcome to Round Hill.
but you can give them 1 gold. Even if you don't want change, you can give them. Why give them 2? What? This is in character. Merlo's like staying next to him now, being like, "What the fuck is happening?"
And then there's just me. I don't see any problem giving a good man some coke. I feel like I might destroy the local economy at some point. Let's do it.
Inflation up by 200% because of 1 adventuring group.
One fighter
Can you imagine
managed
in
to
D&D,
destroy the
like,
economy of Round Hill.
A wizard publishes a
Breaking
book.
news.
Could you imagine in the world of D&D, there's just a book that's just titled like
Wait.
The Economics of Adventures and Cities?
No, it's just like wait. It's just like like there's a newspaper like interview with local commuter. I don't know, man. Like this group of adventurers came in and the fucking parking cost goes up by 300%. In this economy.
They're ruining the local prices. Gosh dang foreigners.
Oh yeah. Alright, what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna ask the guy I gave the gold, where the town hall is or where the mayor is. Excuse me, mind telling me where the town hall is? Like where
Oh.
the mayor is?
Right.
Because we're adventurers.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
they're
sure.
called.
Just walk right through the market square. It's basically the biggest place in our town. And then when you go into the market square, you'll see the town hall. It's the biggest building. Can't miss it. You're welcome.
All right,
Have a nice
thank
day.
I tossed.
Oh no.
Yes.
Wait, DM. Some questions. So that I can make a mental image. So everything in the town is small, right? Because
Yeah.
gnomes are like kind of
Yeah, like the
halfling
houses
size. They're kind of my size.
are small. They're around your height. Gnomes and halflings are kind of the same-ish height. So everything is actually in proportion for you.
Yeah.
Compared to Gluggers, compared to Valtr
So
and
if
Silent.
anything,
Valtr
Valtr might
actually
just be
looks
one
like a
of the-
towering giant. He's actually not feeling too comfortable walking around.
Nah, he's
Like,
just a Jaeger,
in
bro.
fact, the
He's
like the
a Jaeger.
lampposts
Yeah.
that they have to like set like the lantern posts, he's actually in danger of hitting his heads on the lanterns. He has to walk around them.
Damn.
Damn, I pity
Okay.
you guys.
And
I'm
just for
Gulliver.
just for a character thing, like, what's the relation with like halflings
Uh,
and gnomes? Because small people stick together,
Halflings and
or small
gnomes are
people
pretty
fucking hate
good.
each
Like
other.
individually, they're already a pretty
Damn.
chill races. All right, and
I didn't know
they already
small
kind of
people
feel
hate
that
each
they are similar in so many regards, and as you say, that on top of already being friendly to most races, they're even friendlier with each other. So as you walk through the city, the village, a lot of gnomes actually wave hi to you, Merlo.
All right. I wave back.
In fact, if you were to stay here long enough, you would not look out of place at all.
Is there like, how do you tell gnomes and halflings apart?
Yeah,
Like, they look different,
do,
right?
but if you were a human, I don't think
There's a but.
like
Hey, that's me.
I don't think most people would be able to like tell the difference if they didn't meet each other a lot. Like, to put it a certain way,
I'm
they
gonna
look
look up a
almost the
picture.
same, except that gnomes have like pointy ears. They're more like fae, you know? They're more related to fae. This is what I know, or how I understand it. While halflings are more like the hobbits from like Lord of the Rings, you know?
Yeah, so they just look like small humans, but gnomes look more like small elves.
Yeah, that's
kinda.
basically the easiest way. Gnomes are small elves, halflings are small humans.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't. I'm just a bit traumatized from the fucking merfolk situation. I don't want to get my mental image wrong again. And
Small people
And
lore.
and I've just been staring at the fucking picture Gluggers
What
sent, and I'm like,
picture
that
did
can't
he
be
send?
it.
Jesus Christ. That's not it. That's not it.
I'm a gnome.
You've been
I'm a
gnomed.
gnome.
No, that's not it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you got
I
it?
googled it. I got
Cool.
it. It's nice.
Right.
It's Gucci. Yeah.
So I presume y'all walk into the the market square. As is customary of most small villages, most of the roads just lead towards the market square because it is the place where things happen. You know, you see a lot of stalls going around, like a center stage where it's like some people are performing, like singing, dancing, in a generally like happy, like active mood. And you can definitely tell that like if anyone were to host an event or like a celebration, it would happen here in this market square.
All right.
Nice.
And as you come in the market square, you see that it's surrounded by these stalls, and beyond the stalls, like the small houses and like buildings with like multiple rooms for the gnomes to live in, right? Which, to be frank, in Valtr and Silent's eyes, aren't really that big. Valtr could probably like climb up without too much difficulty. Yeah, look,
Nice place.
in order to help you visualize it more, gnomes around the height of children, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they're around like
Yes, children height.
okay.
Standard
Let
measurement.
me rephrase that. They're around like 3 foot tall. They're not really tall.
Okay.
They are like
Yeah.
tiny. And so all the things you see kind of remind you, like, this whole town looks like a village made for like children because they're all small. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of what the houses and like kind of like inns look like, because they're all made for gnome-sized people.
Well, for me,
Yes.
For
to
me, it
you,
looks like
Merlo,
home.
It looks like home. Everything is just the right size. Especially
fucking
compared
hate
to
home.
the other cities you've been in. Everything here is just the right size for you. And now that you're in this marketplace, you look around and you see a building that is definitely bigger than all the other ones and looks more stately in a way. It's got some formal looking pillars, you know, some like tiny decoration on like the above its doors and everything. But still, it's not too big, but it's clearly built to be bigger and more significant looking than all the other buildings.
That has to be the mayor's house. The mayor's office or building.
Yes, it is.
Should I go inside and call him out? Merlo's like looking at the
You're
entrance.
still
Like, I don't
away
think
from
we
the
could all go in
entrance.
there.
Sorry, I didn't specify that. You're basically looking across
okay.
the market square.
Oh.
Well, Valtr and Silent are looking across the market square easily. Merlo is having a little bit more problem in the crowd.
No, I climb on Silent's back like a child with their parent in Disneyland.
Okay, so you look over everyone with ease as well. So you would have to traverse across the marketplace in order to, get to the town hall.
All right,
Okay.
easy enough, I guess.
All right.
All right, Valtr. Be
Not
careful.
time for shopping now.
Quite delicate people, aren't they?
You're telling me.
You move slowly through the crowd. By virtue of there being a crowd, and also virtue of Silent and Valtr feeling overly conscious of where they are walking. Pretty much a wrong move with their knees, and they could potentially just knee someone right in the chest.
Why did you let me do this? You're walking.
Can you all please tell me your wisdom score? Like basically your passive perception.
My wisdom. I have a wisdom of 0, so passive perception
Yes,
is like 10, I think. Yep.
Mine's at 12 on the looks of it.
This total, it's 13.
Right. You walk along, navigating through the crowd, when suddenly you hear a scream.
Oh God, did we step on someone?
I advise you check your
You
boots.
both check your boots, but you see nothing
I look
underneath.
down to my knees.
However, you do
Oh my
see a
God.
crowd of gnomes fleeing from a certain stall. Looking over said crowd, and at the stall, you see that there is a gnome currently what looks to be biting and grappling with another gnome. And
Would that be their way of greeting each other?
I'm not sure. I mean,
while you're having this conversation, the gnome being currently grappled and bitten is still screaming for help. Help! Ah!
Well, I
how far
suppose
away
you're
are we?
Pretty much in like just running distance. Like it would take you, like if you just did like a jog, it would take you less than 10 seconds. Definitely.
if he did a jog or
Yeah,
we did the jog.
Nah, fuck that. I take out my gun, I shoot I take out my gun and I shoot a fucking warning shot, like right next to
Okay.
them.
You
I was
do
right next to my ear, and then
you
his
do
ear.
so. You shoot like somewhere that won't hit them, but close enough, right? Bang. The gunshot resonates through like the whole place. You know, even more gnomes are like panicking and like
tinnitus.
being more like aware now. But the good thing is that they're pretty much cleared out of the entire area that the two are currently like fighting in. The
Alright.
scream,
Can I yell?
sure, but the screaming has already stopped.
Oh. Yeah, while I shoot, I'm like,
Sure.
I still want to yell. Fuck it. Yeah,
Alright, shoot it.
like after I shoot, I'm like, stand the fuck down.
They go silent. And they seem to stop grappling.
Yes.
The first gnome,
That's
the
one way.
attacking gnome, lets go of the second gnome. And then he turns around to look at you all. And you notice that there are tree roots coming out of his mouth.
What the? Is that normal
Jesus
for...
Christ.
Is that
And
normal?
his eyes have gone kind of green.
First I've seen
He
inside
is
this.
drooling from the mouth.
Something tells me that he needs to be
Hmm.
put down, but I don't know.
I'm
That-
silent. Do I
People
put him down?
mean.
What? No.
Like crosshair on his head. Like, do I have permission to shoot?
If you can...
He starts kind of shambling towards you, but at a really, really slow pace.
Do you think he might turn into a tree?
Possibly, if we just let him.
The second gnome that is slumped over the stall from the attack starts twitching and then gets up. You see
Oh, it's
his
a zombie plague.
eyes.
It's a zombie plague.
You
We
see
shoot
his
them all.
eyes
Kill them
turn
all. Burn 'em.
green as well. And some vine-like, root-like thing come
Fuck.
out around the edges of his mouth as well. Although this one seems to be traveling like, that you don't see any of it on the outside, so it must be coming from the inside, so to speak.
Well, this is a predicament.
I was about to tell you to subdue the zombie gnome when it was just one, but now that they're spreading, should we just put them all down as soon as we can?
Perhaps they're still sentient.
The second
somehow.
one that just came out from the stall starts shambling towards you as well. And the three of you hear a faint and very hoarse
Well, they're still
Oh,
conscious
Jesus.
from the sounds of it.
Oh man, I really want to shoot them.
Perhaps we
Valtr,
can subdue them. Perhaps we
Yeah,
can
that sounds
subdue them. We do not want to be charged for murder if we don't know what's going on yet.
In the first time in Round Hill, I don't want to have that in my image. I bring out my ropes.
You see some gnome guards like rush over as well. They're dressed in like the funny like metal cone hats and everything. They look like Spanish conquistadors in a sense, except that they don't have really metal armor, just metal helmets and just leather armor. And they're using
that's
like
cute.
long polearms. Although long in their definition is rather short for Valtr and Silent.
Oh, who are you calling?
Wait, wait, no. Valtr and Silent could do the little bro thing where like they put their hand out on the head of the gnomes and they just can't get closer.
Yeah, they can still probably hit them. They can still hit them with like the pole axe, but they with the hands they can't really touch the heads.
No, I think Silent may be at risk because his hands.
I'm at risk, but Valtr ain't. He's a different.
So they all rush there and they're looking at
alright,
the two gnome villagers, but they don't look too surprised. In fact, they look kind of grim. You hear some muttering amongst them, particularly like their leader. Damn it, not again. Oh boy.
Not again.
Do we kill them?
No.
Yeah.
Let them do the work. I want to see how
I'm
they
not asking. I'm not asking you guys. I'm asking the gnome people. I just want
No,
anyone
no,
to give me
no,
permission
don't,
to
please
shoot.
don't. This,
What?
this is an early stage. They're still in there.
Early stage.
Bring the hooks. You see two gnomes
Bring the
run
hooks.
over to somewhere, and the two shambling gnomes try to shamble closer. Now one of them switched target to the gnomes, while the other is still shambling towards you three. But the gnome guards are now pushing them back with just the butt of their polearms. They're relatively harmless, as you can tell. They're making no attempt to like block or shove any of the polearms. They're just getting pushed back and then just walking forward again mindlessly.
don't
And
think I've ever
then
seen
you
this
see
before.
the two gnome guards, the two gnome guards that ran away, come quickly rushing back with like a pitchfork looking thing. It's like a devil's prong. Yeah, a people catcher, basically.
A people catcher.
And then they use it to basically, push and corral these two gnomes onto the ground, face down. And as they do this, oi, you two, the big ones. Yeah, you two. Mind giving us a hand?
Yeah.
Hold them down.
Sure.
Very well.
I'm pretty sure Valtr can do it by himself, but alright.
More hands,
Alright,
more
Merlo can
work.
hop down from Silent's shoulders now, if he has to like do shit.
Like, how do we hold him down? Do we need their neck or something?
You see the gnome's leader like motion to like the people catchers. Just use those, push them down. Don't let them move.
I hold the people catcher thing and holding them down.
I hold it with one hand and exert
Okay.
some force.
You can feel them
I
struggling
use
against
two
you, but it's like a kid struggling against you. There's no real concerted, push-up strength or any kind of like deadlift power coming from it. It's like mindless, just spastic movements, slow spastic movements, even practically, pointless. The gnome leader then looks to Merlo. Hey, friend, can you go check on the other one? Look for any sign of vegetation on him, like his body. Just strip his shirt. You got a knife? He points to like one of the gnomes. Yeah, just cut open his
I
shirt.
got a knife.
Look at his backs.
Wait, is it the one that got bit? No, it's just one that's like laying on the
There's
ground.
like two of them lying on the ground. The gnome leader and another like guard seems to be working on like the one that got bitten, and another gnome guard is currently searching the first one, the attacker, on the legs. You're being asked to help on the attacker.
Okay. Yeah, but the attacker's obviously got a fucking infection. Okay, fine. I go up. I take out one of my daggers and I
You
start
cut
cutting.
open his shirt in the back, and you open it, and in the middle of his back, between his shoulder blades, you see this plant-like vegetation rooted in the middle.
Mercy killing.
All
The
right.
guard who's
Do I cut it?
the guard looking
Out?
at the back of you just goes, right. It should still be salvageable. Shit. He's like, rummaging around his pockets. Do you have any fire?
Wait. Let me check my inventory.
It's called
I should have.
gun-
Yeah, I have gunpowder.
Cap him, John.
Prank him, John.
I have some flasks of oil and a lantern.
Okay, you have some oil and tinderbox then.
I do. I think I have a tinderbox somewhere. Fuck that. I have a candle. Wait. How the fuck do I not have a fucking? Oh, I have a tinderbox. Yeah, I got it.
I was gonna hand you mine in case you couldn't find it.
Okay, tinderbox has flint, fire, steel, tinder. Yeah, I have like
Right,
everything I need. to
hand
make
me
a
the
fire.
lantern.
Wait, not lantern. Like, wait. I thought he wants me to start a fire. Like, I'm just holding out the flint. And,
Oh, did you take out the
Like,
lantern as well?
I,
Oh, you have
I
tinder.
put some tinder on the.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a tinder box. So I just take the tinder box out. I have flint and steel in my hands, and I'm like,
Yes,
Do I
he
light
puts
it?
like the tinder on like the plant thing, the plant clump you see. Right, set it on fire.
all right. Merlo goes like,
It catches on fire and it crackles
Just-
slowly.
flint and stealing it out.
You start to see some, smoke, the kind when you like burn wet grass, come out of like the things. Like the guard's like covering the fire with his hands, like gently blowing onto it to feed the fire. And you yeah.
That's weird because living wood doesn't burn, right?
Yeah.
I beg to differ.
Wait.
Oh, wait,
Living
no, it
wood
does.
burn.
Fuck,
It's
I'm
just
stupid.
more resistant to burning because it's got water in it.
I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I just like thought about a
Engineer spends
wildfire,
too
and
much
I'm
time
like,
with
wait, it
mechanical
does.
objects. This is
Yeah,
what this
sorry.
must be like that 40k faction, the Mechanicus. they forget what trees are. Yeah, the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Adeptus Mechanicus.
From the moment I realized that my flesh is weak.
From the moment I realized the weakness of
Yeah,
my
and you start to
flesh,
see like it rise
I
up a little
fucking
bit, and
despised it.
the guard takes like the cloth that you cut off like the gnome, and starts feeding it into the fire to like create more heat. Valtr, you're holding down the attacker, I presume. You feel that it is the gnome is actually starting to exert more force in a more concerted effort to try and get up now. Like it is trying to escape.
Oh boy. I'm still holding on to the
Yeah,
people
you
captured one
still do
arm,
fine.
so
You see the gnome start to shake, and you hear this kind of gurgling sound from inside. Like...
Damn.
That's
Silent on your
unnerving.
side.
Is this normal?
The guard next beside you, Valtr, replies, "Yeah, this is actually one of the better cases. It's good that we found this out soon."
Better.
That's one of the better cases.
The two of
damn.
you look over to the other gnome on the ground, and you see the same thing happening with, like, the bitten one. Except this time you see that the plant clump seems to be on the front of his body. It is on the front around somewhere along the collarbone. Technically the spot where it looks like he was attacked and bitten. And it is also being set on fire. In a couple of moments, it starts to smoke heavily from the spot, and then a fire gets going and then dies quite quickly. You see the plant clump, be completely blackened, and the guard starts scraping it off with like their hands. The guard next to you, Merlo, also motions you to like help kind of like scrape it off.
Like I hold out, like I do it, but like half-heartedly and with my knife. I'm not putting my hand
He
on
ignores
that
it and
shit.
just focuses on like scraping all of it off, and then he brushes around it like the darkened ashes and everything. He checks the back, like looking at it, and he's like, and while he's checking, he seems satisfied. Yells over to the other two, "We're clear." The squadron leader looks back at the gnome guard and nods in approval. "We're clear too." "Right. Gentlemen, you can release them. Thank you." He motions to Valtr and Silent to release the people
Gladly.
catchers. The two gnomes on the ground have now stopped moving.
This
They seem unconscious.
a normal occurrence out
Unfortunately, it's starting to be one. This doesn't look good. Ugh.
When did this start?
About a month ago. It's been happening on and off, more frequent lately. Right. We've got to hurry. And they both grab the gnome, the two gnome victims, by like the shoulders and like the legs to carry them, and they run off into the distance. "Thank you for the help, strangers. We've got to get them to the apothecary."
The apothecary.
And you see them move
Yeah.
away. They go off. You also note that while they were being carried away, like
Shame.
their eyes are no longer like green. Seems to have faded back to a normal color, and like the stuff that was coming out of their mouths earlier seem to have kind of disappeared as well. You don't really see traces of them anymore.
Well, I guess we can just proceed to our main goal by talking to the bear. Hopefully he has more stories to tell us about this.
Things have gotten way more interesting. Curious affliction.
Yes, and I'm wondering if it will affect you even. Do you think your suit can protect you from whatever that is, Valtr?
Yes. If they could get in, then I'd be very, very disappointed at myself.
Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen now, shall we?
Quite. Now
So
let's go.
Yeah, let's go see the mayor. I'm pretty sure this has to be the reason why they called us out here.
You,
All right, now I have even more reason to jump on Simon's back.
they can't get me if I'm up on the high ground. Pulls out Glock. Die, zombies.
He's gonna do the doom pose on my back.
You all resume
All right.
heading towards the town hall.
Yes.
You get
We make our way to the town
to
hall.
said town hall building, and unlike the Peacekeepers building that you saw in Windy Peaks, this one seems to be, a lot less decorated. It's very plain, almost as if it's just like a barn house that just got dressed up a little. There's nothing written over, like, the doors or anything. The only thing you see above the door on the entrance is just a carving of, the forest. Just a nice wood carving. Very simple. Very rustic.
Feels like home already.
And there are like 2 bells on the sides of doors that like make a sound whenever like people open them. But the doors seem to be, wide open all the time.
What is the point of the bells? We don't use them. So we get in, right?
Yes. Merlo, I assume you've hopped down from silent to go in.
Yeah, fine.
This doorway is somewhat bigger. It's considered a big doorway for like, gnomes. So Silent can kind of go in by like ducking his head a little. Valtr, you have to kind of like duck down a certain amount to go in.
No, I was expecting him to crawl in here.
For a normal house,
boy.
probably. As the 3 of you go inside, it's actually a lot more spacious than you might have imagined. They seem to have gone for a high ceiling inside, allowing Valtr and Silent to stand comfortably. Although there is still the ever existential concern of accidentally knocking something over. Inside is just, it looks sort of like a church with like rows of chairs, like the rows of benches, right, for people to sit and obviously discuss. And at the far end is like a round table with like chairs, like just like a meeting table, a simple meeting table. And at the round table, you see like a gnome sitting there handling like a few, like a small pile of paperwork. Doesn't seem much. And there are a couple of guards sitting nearby him, talking to the gnome about something in what looks to be a worried discussion.
Is everything alright?
They all start at the sound of your voice. Oh, please, come in. I didn't know we had visitors. How may I help you?
I'm Silent Kingsley. I'm a representative of the guild. You made a request for an adventuring party out here.
Oh, yes. Oh, finally. This is great timing. Where are my manners? I haven't introduced myself yet. I am Mayor Daffodil. and I am the person in charge of this lovely little town. Welcome to Round Hill. He spreads his arms out in a welcoming gesture, looking up to you two and Merlo.
I must say, your town is a nice place. We even had a very eventful day, just a eventful, what do you call this? Welcome
Entrance?
when we arrived by your entrance, yes.
Ah, well, good to hear that. And I assume you may have already encountered some awful happenings in the marketplace.
Yes, we have.
Well,
How,
that
like, why are your people suddenly turning into trees?
well, that is indeed what we are trying to figure out, and we were hoping you could help us do that. We don't
I
know,
see.
you see, but
Hmm.
so far we do know how to cure them.
You know how to cure them, but you don't know where the source is.
No,
Do
but
you?
we have some suspicions. It's just that none of us are really that well equipped to go in, especially after what happened last time.
Last time, elaborate.
Well, yes, but before that, please, sit. I'm sorry, you gentlemen. What are your names?
You
Me?
already know me. I'm Silent
Yeah.
Kingsley. This big man right here. Introduce yourself.
Name's Valtr. I Smith.
Oh, Valtr I. Smith. Welcome. And
Yes.
my halfling friend. How do you do? And who might you be?
You are in the presence of Merlo van der Velde, Vice Chancellor to the Duke de la Berry, here to serve. Show him my
Wow.
ring, do a curtsy.
He does a curtsy back and then just gives you like a very country person like handshake and a hug. Wow, it's been a very long
does he see-
time. Does he see the ring?
Does he see the ring?
Yeah,
yeah.
he does. But instead of like
Okay.
like grabbing it or kissing it or anything, he just does a handshake with it. Wow, that sounds
Alright.
like a very important job title. And good to hear our cousins are having it good over on the other side. Have we been doing well in other places?
All over the realm, cousin.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He shakes your
Oh,
hand with
cousins.
joy. He really doesn't seem to treat you any different than he would his like common person. In true like, rustic hospitality fashion.
He's treating me like a commoner. No.
And
Not much respect on this guy.
please, sit. He draws out a chair for you, Merlo, and then he looks at the other, Silent and Valtr. I'm afraid that you may have to sit on the floor, if you don't mind. I don't think that chairs can support you.
There's no need. I prefer to stand up. I've been sitting all day on the caravan anyways.
Same. I'm more accustomed to standing up anyways.
Alright, but it still would be nice if you did sit down. I wouldn't have to break my neck every time to look at your faces.
You can just stare at my
Well,
knees.
well, if you insist.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mm.
if you do insist, then I suppose.
So, allow me to tell you about what's happened so far in the past month. So, around a month ago, some of our villagers went in to collect and forage from the forest as we normally do. We're very simple people. We farm and we live off the forest as happily as we can. We're very lucky to have been mostly untouched during the war, so it's still quite peaceful here. Unfortunately, though, one day, a foraging party came back with an unconscious member. He was quickly rushed to the apothecary. But once he got to the apothecary, he woke up and tried to attack everyone around him. We quickly figured out that it was because of this strange plant thing on his body, or to be precise, it was latched onto the sides of him. He slides you, y'all a drawn illustration, like a sketch, a doctor's sketch of a gnome's side, like along his side, and then the same plant clump-like thing that you saw earlier. That since the sketch is on a piece of paper made for gnomes, Silent and Valtr, you may have to, you instinctively lean in a little bit closer just to look at it.
Merlo says, like,
Mm.
well, in my experience with statecraft, plagues are best handled by clerics, is it not? Do you not have any of them around here?
No, we don't really have clerics here. We do have healers, though, in the apothecary. But no clerics. Sadly, I think the last one left this village a long while ago to go on a journey.
I see.
Could be useful to think about getting a new one.
Indeed. But as you see, we're a very small village. There's not much incentive to bring anyone along or to live here unless they're looking for peace and quiet near the forest, which even now is looking to be troublesome in the future. Right, where was I?
Well,
When we found out about this, we quickly found out that you could just burn off the plant thing and the patient would become unconscious and they would recover with, enough remedies and potions. So we were very relieved at that. But things got worse. We thought it might have just been some sort of weird plant newly grown in the forest. So we made a foraging team to go out and especially exterminate these kinds of strange plants in order to kind of help keep the health and security of the forest safe. But when we sent them in, 2 of them came back with the same problem. We cured them as usual, of course, but it was very concerning on how 2 of our most experienced foragers were just infected by this random plant, as it were. So it was starting to become clear to us that this wasn't just some plant waiting docilely to infect someone with something, but rather this was like they were being hunted whenever they went there. So we got concerned. Yes?
Did the foragers say what happened to them after they got better?
Is there also a chance that we can...
That's the
perhaps meet them?
concerning part. When those 2 were attacked, no one saw anything. It was like they just wandered off.
Right, but what did they say after they got better? Did they
They don't remember
talk about their
anything.
experience?
Really?
Shame.
That's a shame.
But
But you do know where the location is of this strange, infesting tree-like thing is, right?
yes, at first we had a small area identified, but as time has passed, well, I'll get to that. We sent in a bigger party last week to kind of, attempt the extermination again. And well, we didn't hear from them for quite a while. 3 days after they set off, they came back, but they weren't the same anymore.
Like, what do you mean by
Infected?
that? Did they come back infected, or?
All of them were infected, but it wasn't like any of the other cases that we've seen before. If this, he taps on the picture, let's say this is like stage 1 of like the infection, so to speak. The party that came out, they were more tree than gnome. And they had these flowers growing out of their bodies. And those flowers had eyes.
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus.
And it wasn't just any eyes. It was their eyes.
Jesus.
It was
I
horrifying.
didn't see
It was
that
like
character. I'm just like, what the fuck?
it was like some sort
Yeah,
of
what's D&D Jesus so we can so we can say
Yeah,
that
man, what the
correctly.
hell is this?
I'll get back to you on that.
All right.
Halloween has already passed, motherfucker.
Gnome Jesus.
Sure.
No, Jesus.
You can go gnome Jesus.
No, Jesus. That implies that there was a gnome Roman legion. A gnome Roman Empire.
Gnome Judas.
There's just a gnome version of all the
Adam and
paintings.
Eve. The entire Bible, all of them are gnomes.
No way.
And they weren't like just attacking randomly. They were very strong. And we could barely burn them. It wasn't like anything that we saw before in those patients. They were really quick and they were quite tough. We barely managed to hold them off from entering the village. Thankfully we did. But we weren't able to save these ones. They were gone.
Well, my condolences, but this is a rather interesting predicament. Never encountered anything like this before.
Agreed.
As Mr. Merlo has said, it's almost like a plague. A very horrifying one, I might add. And as for the area, we sent them in to investigate a deep part of the woods, but judging from the map that we managed to recover from their bodies, they traveled an even shorter distance than before.
That means that whatever this infection is, it's really closing into your little town.
Yes, we're afraid so. It looks like it's spreading through the forest. We're worried that if this gets any bigger, we might have to even destroy the whole forest, which would be catastrophic to all life living nearby.
Could be worse.
Well, you do have a point in saying that, but really, I really do hope it doesn't get worse than this.
Look,
Well,
let's say we look at this logistically. I have more questions about the nature of the infection, but if it comes to it, and the forest must be burned down, it isn't the end of the world. It's just one forest. It will grow back. The ash from the burning would serve well to grow a different forest in its place.
But this is a massive forest.
Right,
Well,
but what cost is too great to save more gnome lives?
Well, yes, you're not wrong. Even now, we are preparing to cut down the trees surrounding that area to cordon off the fire, so to speak, if we did have to set it on fire. But it's quite a great undertaking for us to cut down enough trees, but we should be able to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. We do have experience in doing controlled burns, after all. But frankly, we're very worried because this doesn't feel like a fungal infestation or anything. This feels sinister, evil. I mean,
A cult?
I'm not sure. Like an evil demon or something. I mean, what would make eyeballs grow out of flowers that grow out of gnomes?
This is Clearly, something that we've never fought before.
Hmm. I'm not one for biological problems. They freak me out.
You're telling me.
They freak me out too.
I didn't even know that would burn. So
If all things fails, this entire forest must burn. But that should serve as a last line of defense, or if anything.
but why? Why not just burn down the forest?
Because, as what Mayor Daffodil just said,
Hmm.
there has to be something more to this, something else than just a threat of some virus. There has to be someone controlling this.
Yes.
Something
A
like
root
this.
cause.
Something like this isn't
It's much-
natural.
It's much easier to investigate a pile of ashes than an infected forest.
But what other choice do we have?
Hmm.
It's better to check the forest. But then again, it never.
Losing the forest would lose us information. Isn't that important?
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm speaking for myself here and for no one else, but I do not want eyeball flowers to grow out of my body. For one.
You're not the only one. But still,
I
We're
do
different.
realize that it's a rather dangerous undertaking, which is especially why we've sent in a request to the guild to send in people more capable than us to go and investigate and hopefully exterminate the cause. And we trust you, especially you, my cousin. If you all say that this forest is truly doomed and needs burning, we'll do it. But hopefully, I do pray that it doesn't come to that. So,
that's what I'm
if
hoping
it's
for as well,
possible,
Mayor.
indeed, if possible, I'd like to request for y'all to investigate it first.
Hmm.
Just
Since we
one
still
more
have-
thing.
Since we still have some daylight, I guess we can go investigate it now. As you were saying, Merlo?
Right. I have a question to the nature of the disease. Today in the market square, a gnome just started biting another gnome, spreading the infection.
Mhm.
How did the first gnome got infected? I assume he didn't go out into the wild, get infected in the forest, come
No.
back, not been searched by the guards,
That is
having his
true.
eyes screened, come into the market and then bite someone. If he was infected in the market, you have a bigger problem than just an infected forest on your hand.
That is true.
Yes,
We-
I agree.
What?
A gnome guard who was sitting at the table alongside Silent all this time speaks up.
What the hell?
it-
How long you
It's like doing the too short, didn't see.
What? What the fuck? How'd you get there?
Oh, this is the head of all the village guards. His name is Sunshine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Quite brilliant.
Captain Sunshine at your service. It is,
So,
as
Captain.
you say, adventurers. We have strictly ordered all of our village folk to not enter the forest because it has proven to be a tragic experience.
It
But
sure
yet,
is, but
one of our townsfolk was found infected somehow. Somehow it has gotten inside our walls without us knowing. And that's a grave
Maybe.
concern.
you may double check your walls or something.
We are right now. But
And every entrance has guards.
yes, the good thing about Round Hill is that it's a rather small area, as you've seen. Roughly only 100 or so gnomes live here. It's not a big place. There's only 3 entrances in and out of this village. We check the walls and make sure that they're well maintained every day. And as you say, we've been inspecting anyone who had to travel outside for any signs. And we have found none. In fact, the person who was found infected in the marketplace, so I hear from the apothecary, was not even shown to be going outside at all, according to the list. So if he was infected in here, in our village.
Well, this is a much bigger predicament.
Indeed.
This brings about grim
I was
insights.
hoping that it would stay outside the city walls. But the
I
thing
can't
that
really
they're-
burn a village down, can we now?
Oh, hell
This
no.
brings the thought if this thing is airborne. Wouldn't that be something?
God, I
What
hope
if?
not.
Do you guys have your
Then we're
solar
all
system?
dead already.
Yeah, we're all fucked.
So right now, what I've been thinking of after discussing with the mayor is either one of us is a traitor, which I find hard to believe, frankly.
Why are we suddenly pointing fingers as a traitor? What's going on here?
Or
Among
secondly,
Us.
the much worser belief. It has somehow grown inside these walls.
Now I'm getting nightmares.
I recommend a quarantine.
How
Yeah,
do
I
you
recommend it.
quarantine something you cannot find?
At least you can quarantine the people. So if
With-
they get infected, they don't infect others.
We try, but every time someone gets infected, they'll probably just go around attacking random people. But as you can see, once they get infected at like the early stage, we can cure them still.
Say early stage, like how quickly do they turn to the other stages? We've seen how they did in the early stage, but
So within
How
a
quickly do they-
day, so far, from what we've seen from our cases, within a day, they're still they can still be cured. They're not gone. But so far from the previous party that went in, they came back 3 days later and they looked like that.
first
So
stage
I'd
still
say
salvageable.
right now our best assumption is that after 3 days, they're gone. To make a much more severe assumption, I would say 2 days. 2 days and they're not gnomes anymore.
Hmm.
So this is a
Oh,
big
yes.
predicament.
I have a query, Captain Sunshine.
Please.
You say that gnomes have all been infected by this predicament, but do you know that, have you seen any other races been infected? Perhaps passerbys or travelers that come here out of their way?
No, so far you're the only passerbys that have come to this town or to this village in recent times. As the mayor said, we don't get a lot of visitors, so all we know right now is that gnomes are affected.
Not
I
even
pray to God it
traitors.
only affects gnomes and not you all.
Hmm,
What about
very
traitors? None?
grim.
Well,
Very grim
about traitors?
implications.
So far, traders haven't been coming here recently, thankfully. But we'd rather not find
God.
out if it can infect other races. God forbid this spread out from our place to somewhere else. Oh,
We already seen the
That's a grim
effects
thought.
on gnomes, but I'm a bit
Mhm.
terrified on how it will affect me and my friend here. I point at.
indeed. And in fact, there's been another more troubling report from our forest people recently that I was about to report to you too as well, Mayor. Oh dear. The animals have gone quiet.
Oh fuck!
even more reason to burn the fucking forest down.
Cross-species infection?
Bro, that also means that birds are also infected, therefore airborne.
as much as I hate the idea of burning down the forest, it may become a possibility.
It looks
Might
like
as well.
the best option right now to me, but all right.
I'm not sure how to
That's
report this to
fine.
the guild if that's going to be the case.
There is still one thing that
Collateral
bothers me
damage.
about
There's a form
this.
for it.
I doubt they have that.
Yeah. There is still one thing that bothers me
You
about
doubt
this.
the Adventurers Guild
Not-
don't have a form for collateral damage? Okay.
I mean, I
Okay, sorry,
Scorched, scorched earth.
Scorched
Nuke
earth
everything.
tactics. Nuke everything.
But yeah,
Adventurers
what
get a
was
bit
This far,
wild.
boys, come on.
All right,
Vietnam
Valtr, you were
return.
saying?
Yeah, there is still one thing that bothers me about this entire thing. While I am not an expert in biological matters, I have noticed that the party that you all sent, even though they came back 3 days later as mutants, they still had the brain capacity to come back here. Which makes me wonder if there is something directing them. A hive mind of some sorts.
Hi, mine.
Oh, that's a really troubling suggestion. That's not really good.
It need not be a hive mind. It could just be them, the plant growing inside of them, making them want to go home. We see this in. Wait, I can't do this. I don't know if my character would notice. Like,
Nah, I don't. But
Yeah.
still, though, this entire campaign suddenly took a twist. I don't like it. It's scary.
like
I
this
like-
would be something I know out of like virology, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Merlo knows virology.
I mean, you.
Meme.
your
So
character
Merlo
has
doesn't
to-
know,
Yeah.
definitely does not know the term virology. He's not at that level. But as a rogue in the more unsavory parts of the underworld, you've known your fair share of diseases, fevers, scurvy, and whatnot, gangrene. And you do know that sometimes in
Trenchfoot.
like people with high fevers or something will stumble around randomly and possibly towards familiar places simply because that was like a core memory in them. So it is a behavioral
many-
thing that you do know of, but you're not really aware of any scientific backing.
Yeah, many sick people just want to go home, man. It's normal.
Can't blame them.
So
Shit, I got
it
out
seems
nice
we
and
must
easy.
investigate the forest.
Yes, in fact, would like to ask you to investigate both our town and the forest.
Does that mean
Um,
we have to split?
That would be unwise.
Hey, if you guys want to go into the forest, I can stay here and look at the town. If you guys fail, I'll burn it down. Plan B, burn it down. That's me, baby.
Merlo's gonna be like, "Oh my God! They killed Silent and Valtr! You bastards!" Shoots the flamethrower into the forest. Die! I'll avenge you.
Talking
If the rest of our
Talking
party
about-
was here, having the option to split would have been a very nice option. Just saying.
talking about that, Captain Sunshine. I
Yes.
don't know if this village is suffering under major logistical problems. But today, earlier, when the guards helped us with the situation in the market, they asked me if I had any fire on me. Now, for a village fighting an infection which can be beaten by fire, I would assume that the guards would be fitted out with some way to create a lot of fire at all times.
Yes, they are. But it seems like that was a slip up. I would like to apologize for showing you such an embarrassment. That guard has been disciplined properly. And thank you for your assistance. Had you not been there, things might have gone much worse.
Yeah, Merlo. If you hadn't
Yeah, like
been there.
I don't know, just like everyone's got to have a lighter around right now, babe. Bro.
Simple match.
It
Yeah,
would
just like-
indeed be fun to have fire on demand.
Give out matches.
All our guards are actually beginning to be equipped with torches, even at daytime now.
It's beginning to look a lot.
Just
Like
so we can set
Christmas.
whatever we need to on fire at any given notice. We're also preparing water buckets around the area in case a fire gets out of control.
That's good.
Sand works too.
Sand does work indeed, but we don't. We
They don't
would
have,
have to
sand
go
out here.
into the forest to get more. So
There's sand.
And what could be the problem with that? All right, sorry.
the you actually see Captain Sunshine laughing at that. Truly.
At least you don't get your water from the forest. Damn, that would have been.
That is truly a relief. Although the water supply is also a concern at this point.
Well, shit.
Mm.
The apothecary
Oh.
has indeed expressed concerns if it were somehow able to spread through the water, things could get rather grim. So they do seem to be preparing a sort of water boiling system to distribute amongst the townspeople.
Water boiling system. Just boil your fucking water.
Yes, just simply just an instruction on for the townspeople to just boil their water and anything before consuming it. So far we've seen infections that happen from the outside. We really don't want to find out what happens when it gets inside first.
Well, this is a predicament.
All
All right.
Someone said something about the trader earlier being a possible reason why the infection is spreading in the town. This is a town of 100. This is a town of 100 people. So do you have anyone specific in mind?
Oh, a traitor. Never.
I hate to say this, but it sounds bad of me to hate to say this, but frankly, I think it's almost impossible for us to have a traitor, which is why the other assumption is so much more grievous. That the infection has somehow infiltrated through our walls.
Do they have
Mhm.
wooden walls here?
Yeah, they have like wooden walls here, you know, like the classic like log with like sharpened
Yeah.
tips on top.
Oh yeah, that.
They just have that, and they have like some outposts along like the entrances of each one. It would like be pretty easily defended against like your average bandit encounter, but like,
The people who came back with eye flowers, you burned their corpses, right? Burned everything they had.
Yes. Although it did take a considerable effort.
What do you mean by that?
They were kind of resistant to fire.
How resistant?
Normal fire or magical fire?
We were using normal fire, and it was really hard to even stop them. It didn't really look like they cared. Unlike the early stages. They kind of just they had this like a bark that helped kind of like ward off the fire.
I hope you die.
The mayor shows you another illustration of some illustrations of like the so-called mutants. You see indeed that there were like multiple flowers sprouting from their backs, their arms, and their legs, and they all had eyes, like multiple eyes. And along their body was like, moss, vines, bark, and leaves.
Mm.
Bro, this is just the fucking flood from Halo.
Mm.
Yeah. How you were talking about cutting down the trees in the forest to make way for the fire. How long would that take?
Hit the forest.
I would say that we should be able to get to be able to corral and start the fire in like 2 weeks?
Oh Jesus. Okay.
2 weeks is not enough, especially especially how far the infection has spread.
Well, you may have a point, but if we don't do this before we start the fire, it really will get out of control. It could affect nearby towns and other villages.
Wait, there are nearby towns? What are they saying? Do they have the infection?
My friend, when you burn something, it's not just the heat that will make problems, it's the ash and the dust that floats up. If such a massive forest were to burn in its entirety, it would quite literally create a dust storm. Sometimes it could even get thick enough to decrease the sunlight in certain areas. That could ruin crops. If we were to burn down all of this without controlling it properly, oh boy, I think we'd set a new level of weather disaster for the local area. And possibly more, depending on the wind currents.
Sounds like a fucking problem for God, not adventurers, but okay.
Well, we don't have a cleric, so we can't really ask God.
Maybe
I have some
massive
recommendations, but we can come
damage.
to that later. After this is dealt with.
Oh boy.
So,
This is a tough predicament for us. I was expecting some sort of bandit raid or some dragon or something, but this
Fucking
is
The Last of
something new.
Us.
But as a representative of the guild, I assure you we will do our very best to help you and accomplish this request. You have my word.
And his alone. no, I'm sorry.
And he's alone. What the?
well, I must say, I truly am grateful for even coming all this way to help us. The contract didn't really mention how big a reward would be for this, but we would be willing to give you almost all of our treasury if you wanted.
Damn.
Let us not
That's-
speak of payment before the work is done.
Yes. So that we don't get our minds clouded with greed.
Well,
It is
better
it
greed
is
than
improper.
plant matter.
We'll think about our reward after we're done with this.
Thank you very much. If you like, you can set out your equipment in a place we've prepared for you all first before coming back in the evening for dinner and discussion with Captain Sunshine on how possibly we could tackle this issue.
We're pretty early when we arrived here, right?
Yeah.
I was hoping that we can go out and check the forest ourselves before we do it.
You can suggest that. In fact, it's it's barely noon. You're still at 11-ish. It's not even noon yet.
I have a question for the DM.
Yes.
The elf nuke, did it look anything like this? Or is it not connected?
No, the elf nuke was, while one could say, a highly cruel and violent way to end things, the end result was very peaceful. The elf bio nuke that happened, where the city that it happened has been turned into what can be considered a natural forest haven, lush and full of wonderful life. Nothing evil or sinister.
I thought maybe it's like an Adventure Time situation. If you get what I'm
I feel you in that one. We were
Oh,
both fans of that, homie. We were both fans of
Yeah.
that at the same age, yeah. It's good times.
Okay. Bro, that one fucking episode, like first season where the zombies came, that shit wrecked me for like a long time.
I remember you were like, fuck, I can't take this. You went full paranoid.
No, I don't like zombies. Burn it down, I say. Goddamn. All right, Silent, you want to go into the forest immediately? Just like get our hands dirty.
I was all hoping that we could investigate the forest since we still have some daylight. Going there at night would just be a suicide.
I mean, going there at night would need some lanterns, and maybe we could knock them down, and maybe the problem solves itself.
I prefer it when we have sunlight.
You know what? I'm thinking if we go in right now and it looks like it's fucking foo bar fucked up beyond any recognition, then maybe you turn to the side of burn it all down. So we can do that.
Yeah. I look at the mayor and I look at Mayor Daffodil and Captain Sunshine. As much as I'd like to put down our equipment and rest for a moment, I think it would be best if we, the adventurers, would go into the forest and investigate for ourselves and see the extent of how far this infection has spread and how dangerous have they suddenly become.
That would be prudent. I would like to thank you for your urgency. He produces 3 wooden passes, and he hands it over to all of you. These are special passes made for all of you. It bears the same rank and authority as I do, meaning that you should be able to travel around freely and safely in and out of the city. You can also show it to our village folk, and they will be willing to comply with what you need to investigate. A lot of them are becoming aware of the current threat, although I do ask to try to not spread too much panic amongst them. They still aren't aware of the whole possible infiltration within the walls. Although, I urge you, if you suspect that anywhere that could have this infestation, even if it's someone's bathroom, don't hesitate to show them this pass and go investigate. This is, frankly, far more urgent than toilet privacy. And if
I do want to get some door kicking action, like.
And if I may have a proposal, I propose that our halfling friend Merlo stay here to investigate the city, given that he should be able to navigate it much easier than you two. To no offense to your size, but we simply did not make this place for your size.
None
Fuck
taken.
you, dude.
I understand. I turn to Merlo. Can you handle the situation here in town while me and Valtr go to the forest?
Merlo, fucking, highest rank authority card in hand, given the authority to kick in people's doors and investigate anything, almost like visibly giddy. Yeah, sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, I can do it. It's no biggie.
Yeah, no biggie. Fuck you.
And before we do go to the forest to investigate, by chance, do you guys have how do I say this? A blacksmith or something? A weapons master?
We have a local blacksmith, although, there's nothing really fancy going on. We mostly use it just to make simple weapons and, fix, household things.
There's only one weapon I need to pick up from that local blacksmith before we leave.
Sure, I
that
hope you can
aside-
find... Yes?
With that aside, I sure hope that we will be able to find well, at least for my friend Merlo here, that he would be able to find the source of the infection here, while me and Valtr go outside. I'm hoping that you would provide my friend Merlo here the necessary equipment and everything you require for the investigation.
Of course, of course. We'd be
I-
happy
I
to
assure
provide
you.
any of you with any resources that you may need.
That is good to hear.
I assure you, I used to take tutelage under the spy master of my duke in those times, and I have learned to root out corruption wherever it may be, in whatever form it may take.
That is good to hear.
That's incredible. Glad to hear that, my friend. Truly wonderful
My
news.
my investigative shops comes up again. Merlo PD.
You see Mayor Daffodil look visibly hopeful at that mention.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna like try my luck right now. At being more, I don't know, gaudy. Should we just begin, or like I'm hyped. I'm imagining Merlo just kicking people's door down, showing them the fucking badge, and being like, "Show me your fucking toilets," or whatever.
What about you,
You know.
Valtr? You've been very quiet for quite some time.
I've been thinking. Since it is the both of us investigating the forest, you definitely need to have something on you that'll ward off the plant life. I don't see your water sword doing much wonders in that regard.
My water sword.
I don't see your water sword really being
You
helpful.
can water the plant.
Oh, I
The
assure
mutant
you.
grows bigger.
Oops.
Believe me, using the water sword on something like this is a death sentence. Unless my sword can cut through the damn thing.
You can't even use the water sword right now, can't you?
With imagination.
Yeah. Damn, we don't have our alchemist here because he could make some like fucking Agent Orange just instead of burning the fucking forest down.
He's Vietnaming this. He's about to make like napalm.
Well, that's the burning down the forest option, which we're not there yet. But
I appreciate the concern, Valtr, but if anything, I can handle myself. I'm worried about you, though.
what? Valtr's Merlo's like go in this conversation like Valtr's a metal person. He should be, if anyone's immune. I mean,
We don't know the extent of this infection and nor how it will spread. It only happens to gnomes as far as we know.
True. However, I snap my fingers and produce a tiny flame from the tip of my gauntlets. I do have fire on demand. You remember?
ooh.
That's good to know.
Wait, but you have an option to seal your armor, right? Because you went underwater and you could seal it. I mean, if you
I
have a
can.
water seal, I can't imagine infections coming through it, unless it is, of course, of a magical nature.
Well, for the seal, I can only have it on for a limited amount of time. But rest assured, I don't believe anything airborne should affect me. But I have seen most of my old friends fall victim to airborne diseases, but I never have. I do not know why.
Would it be a dick move if I start coughing?
You just cough on me.
I just cough as you say that.
COVID tested for both.
I both tested, bro.
Mr. Valtr I. Smith, seeming as you are a man of science or knowledge, I do believe it might be useful if you were to go to the apothecary and discuss things with them before setting off
going
to
the forest alone? Yeah, baby.
They may have information for you there that could be of help to you two heading to the forest. Of course, if you need any fire-related items, we'd be happy to provide you with them. Oil flasks, torches, tinder, lights.
What's a dating app have to do with this?
I'll keep that in mind, though. Alchemy isn't in my field, per se. But perhaps I can learn something more about this entire thing.
Surely. Well, I best not be holding you from going on your jobs. Best of luck to you all, gentlemen. I have to report back to my post as well. Mayor? He does a quick nod, and him and his attending stand up and quickly leave the town hall.
Rest assured, Mayor, we will handle this with great care, and hopefully we will not result to burning the forest down as a last resort.
I hope so as well.
Do we
What?
get to leave the building?
Well,
Do you
no
get
time to waste.
I want to get to work.
Yeah, you all get up and like leave the town hall, the town hall to begin your operations, which we will continue next session.
Yeah.
And that's the end of today's session. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Whispers of the Old, Ballads of the Young. If you enjoyed listening to our D&D shenanigans, make sure to subscribe and drop us a like. It'd be great to have your support. This has been RockTofu and the gang, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.